Welcome, guys, to the daily analysis for March 19th. So, yesterday was the big FOMC day. The rates remain unchanged, and Powell was not that optimistic. I mean, given the environment, I doubt many people would be optimistic. Everybody is uncertain about the future or the energy future in Iran. And obviously, in this kind of uncertainty, trying to project rate cuts down the line or anything else is quite difficult. The good thing is we don't really have to care about any of that as long as we can take care of price because price is the final reflection of everything that's going on around us. All right, so that's the ultimate truth. That's what we get paid on. Let's try and just understand that rather than trying to understand everything else that's not related to it. Let's look at the events for today. We don't really have any major events except unemployment claims, but they come out every Thursday. And the main driver of today's action is going to be the FOMC of yesterday. If you guys remember, I had mentioned this before, right after Nvidia earnings, how such big events, the overnight action or the action right after the event doesn't really matter as much. It's usually the next day where the event is digested. So if you guys remember, on January 28th, we had FOMC. The next day is when the impact of it was digested, led to that initial move lower, whose range we have been stuck in. So yesterday's FOMC, today is probably going to be the bigger impact of it. So that's the overall context. Let's look at the hourly charts. The hourly charts are pretty clear. All right. We have been in the same range since February 3rd, and we are back to the bottom of the range. It will be hard to be bullish today unless we get above the highs of yesterday. All right. So above this hourly 50 MA, anything else is most likely in the bearish territory. All right, so where would we be neutral? So we can only be bullish above the 603 area. I'm going to remove yesterday's box real quick. All right, so we can only be bullish above that 603 area. I guess to be really bearish, we have to break below this 592 area. Trying to be bearish in this region is tricky because we are coming into a major support. All right, we are coming into an area where we have bounced 5 times, right? So trying to be bearish before that is going to be extremely tricky. So today it's just very big neutral area, and then below 592 we are probably going for this gap fill that at this point might as well get filled so that we can be done with this nonsense. But below 592 we likely go to 589, followed by 586, 583, and 580. All right, so those will be the levels on your downside. Massive neutral area, but given that we can expect volatility today, especially with the whole FOMC thing yesterday, I won't be surprised. If we break lower, expect volatility. Only longs above 606. What about in this neutral area? Can you scalp here? Yes, you can. All right, keep these levels in mind. 594, 597, 600, our usual punch. How will you scalp in this area? Well, that's going to be a bit more tricky. If we get a bounce in the morning, we can look for shorts. If we break below 592 directly, we can look for shorts. Personally, I would not be looking for longs. All right, that's just my bias. I would only be looking for shorts while we are in the neutral area, and most likely after a bounce and a zone break. So that's how I would suggest to play today. Neutral territory, bullish, and